Good morning. I'd like to ask you, which has more influence on how you feel today, the past or the future? For many of us, the thought of an upcoming birthday or a new toy you're planning to buy or going out of town to visit somebody or even going on holiday can fill us with joy and bring us great excitement today. But if we're worried about the future and not looking forward to what's coming up, it can make us depressed and grumpy today. Look how many discouraged people around us think that there's no future for them in this country. So they pack up and they leave for another country where apparently there still is a future, they think. For many of us, the meaning of life lies in the future, in next year, whenever. We're always thinking about when the pandemic is over, when the economy improves, when crime is under control, when our health gets better, when we've retired, or maybe when our investments pay out, you name it. And it was very different from this in biblical times. People weren't so interested or even so worried about the future because they knew it was a mystery and totally unpredictable. Their culture at that time taught them rather to keep their eyes on the past, and they almost reversed into the future. The Israelites looked to the past when they all faithfully celebrated God's grace, His mercy, and His powerful deliverances through their celebration of their holy days like Passover. They reminded themselves regularly through the year about how God had helped them in the past. And this gave them strength to face the troubles of today, and it gave them hope for that unknown future. Look at how Asaph, one of the psalmists, expressed it in Psalm 77. I want to read the first few verses. Asaph was not in a good place. He said, I cry out to God, yes, I shout. Oh, that God would listen to me. When I was in deep trouble, I searched for the Lord. All night long I prayed with hands lifted towards heaven, but my soul was not comforted. I think of God and I moan, overwhelmed with longing for His help. You don't let me sleep. I'm too distressed to even pray. I think of the good old days long since ended, when my nights were filled with joyful songs. I search my soul and ponder the difference now. Has the Lord rejected me forever? Will He never be kind to me again? Is His unfailing love gone forever? Have His promises permanently failed? Has God forgotten to be gracious? Has He slammed the door on His compassion? I said, this is my fate. The Most High has turned His hand against me. Have you ever felt that bad? That God had totally forgotten about you and written you off? But then Asaph continues, but then I recall all you have done, O Lord. I remember your wonderful deeds of long ago. They are constantly in my thoughts. I cannot stop thinking about your mighty works, O God. Your ways are holy. Is there any God as mighty as you? You are the God of great wonders. You demonstrate your awesome power amongst the nations. By your strong arm, you redeem your people, the descendants of Jacob and Joseph. Asaph was really feeling ignored and neglected by the Lord. But when he started focusing on how the Lord had helped in the past, it gave him perspective for today and hope for the future. And look, Jesus says that we to continually remind ourselves by looking back at His cross and His death through sharing communion together to remind us of the power of God released and the hope that we have for the future. It says in 1 John chapter 3 verse 16, we know what real love is because Jesus gave up His life for us. So we also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. And I challenge you today, no matter what you're going through, do not judge God on what you are experiencing just today. Some are grieving. They've lost a loved one just a couple of days ago. Some are fighting illnesses. Some of you are fearful about the future. But don't judge God on what's happening today. Rather look back over your life and celebrate God's grace and His mercy to you. Celebrate His power that you've already seen in the past in your life. Look back at the cross and realize anew that the same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you and will help you through whatever you're facing. Romans 8:11 says, "The Spirit of God who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you." And just as God raised Christ from the dead, He will give a life to your mortal bodies by the same Spirit living within you. May this give you a handle to hold on to in the uncertainties of today. May this remind you to look back and realize what power is in your life. I challenge you, whether you're on your own or with your family, break bread now. I've given you some notice in advance to prepare elements. Take communion. Read the passage in 1 Corinthians 11 and remind yourself about God's love and His power that are manifest or displayed or shown to us through the cross. Remember God's goodness and His love, and thank the Lord for His faith to fill you as you face whatever challenge lies ahead of you. May the Lord help you in this in Jesus' name. God bless. Cheers.